Travon Smith, Turf Talk 101. My favorite part, man, is waking up and getting a chance to talk to these young men, these athletes, these entrepreneurs, these collegiate students, these sons, these brothers. They're just a whole nine to get a outlook of them. None of these interviews are like choreographed or anything. I love the spontaneousness. I love these kids learning how to interview and just learning the aspect of this where they get to talk about their self. So once again, Turf Talk 101, meet Travon Smith. This young man, I actually ran into him at a U.S. Army practice game. He's out there with one of the best armed and dangerous, one of the best coaches there is teaching the quarterback. So shout out to him. I ran up to him because I seen he had, some family gear on, and it said Linfield Christian. I'm like, it's only one dude. You got to know who I'm talking about, and that's Coach Burns. And I talked to this man. I seen him out there balling. I called Coach Burns. Was like, hey, I seen a guy out there balling. He's like, yeah, that's my quarterback. I was like, okay. So with no further ado, Mr. Thomas, go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell them what year you are, what accolades you had throughout your career at Linfield as you class of 2025. Going to college. Just come on, man. No humble show. Go ahead and tell everybody what they need to know about you.
Yes, sir. Thank you again for having me, Coach. And so Thomas Paschal from Linfield Christian, 2025 quarterback, ACU commit. So going into my season, I want to talk about starting off on freshman year. I didn't have too many snaps. We had a starting quarterback he was a junior at the time, so I didn't really get too many reps. I started the first, I think, 4 games, and then he came back from injury, played the rest of the season, and then sophomore year, I ended up switching over to safety and tight end.
Mhm.
Got first team all league that year. Racked up around I think 500 passing or receiving yards, and then a couple touchdowns. And then junior year was my first year starting at quarterback. Came ended the year with 1,800 yards and I think 18 touchdowns.
Mhm.
First team all CIF that year. And then fast forward to my senior year, I had 2,800 passing yards,
Mm.
3,100 all-purpose yards, and 30 plus touchdowns. Um, got MVP of the league. Um, I broke all passing yards record at Linfield Christian and all purpose yards at Linfield Christian. And then team accolades, I was able to get offensive player of the year. And yeah,
Hey, everything do because it's not easy getting those kind of awards from Coach Burns. I know him firsthand and foremost, and those are some pretty dominant stats that you just said. I want to get into a little bit about what you just said first before we start talking about you personally as far as where you're going and stuff like that. Do you think playing the wide receiver and the safety position kind of help you to a certain degree playing quarterback because you kind of knew some things how the safety might think, and you also knew some things about the wide receiver, how it goes out there, on the island by yourself. Talk a little bit about learning three positions and how it transgressed into the quarterback position.
yes, sir, no doubt. Going into that year, I was kind of thinking like, um, man, I wish I could play quarterback. Man, I can do this. But it ended up being, I think, the biggest blessing for me in my uh, high school career because, in my opinion, I think the safety is the quarterback of the defense. So I was able to learn how to um, fully go through adversity as well because I had to really change my mindset and I had to fix my mind and how to go from thinking I was going to start at quarterback and then having to switch over to a whole different position where I had to learn everything first on the spot, not even in practice or anything. It was my first game. I had no practices under my belt at safety,
Okay.
so that was kind of a big deal for me. And yeah, I think knowing and understanding what a safety is going to do on the field and what the corners do because you have to learn kind of every position. Um, I feel like that helped me a ton with playing quarterback for my mostly my senior and junior year.
And then going into your junior year, the adversity of switching to quarterback. What's some things, the mind frame you had to change? Because now you go from being violent, running routes, to now becoming a thinker. But I could tell you're a smart guy anyway, so it probably wasn't that hard. But the adversity of learning, what were some things that you were trying to discover and working on as you started getting the playbooks from the staff?
Yes, sir. Well, the main thing for me was confidence. I had to get my confidence back at quarterback because I wasn't used to having to lead a team completely. Um, After my sophomore year playing tight end, I felt like I needed to just work on everything and get like have that kind of chip on my shoulder for my junior and senior year. So that junior year, that whole process was just being with Coach Burns, learning defenses as much as I could. It was either me being in his office at like class or lunchtime or after school workouts with Coach Burns. So it was a big process for me, just to more so not even my game, but just to understand what it meant to be a leader and a field general on the field at all times.
And that's something that Burns specializes is raising leaders and raising young men to men, in which I've seen you grow as well. I want to talk about just going up to the line, getting to play. Talk to some of these younger quarterbacks that haven't seen the success that you've seen with the accolades that you have from the season you had, from 2,800 yards, 30 plus touchdowns, and committing to college. To be a quarterback, you get the play call in. Let's break it down. Get the play call in. What's some things you get the play in? What are you looking at first? Are you looking for the safeties? You looking for the D line? What's some things going through your head when you after you get the play call into your players?
For sure. Well, in film study before that even happens in the week before, I try to look for alignments of the corners, if they're inside, outside, head up, if they're more of a physical dude, if they like playing off, kind of everything. I try to look for tendencies of the linebackers, safeties. So when I get that play call, I'm in the huddle speaking my play, talking to my lineman, and I'm already looking above, looking where the safeties are aligning when my receivers run out, and that will give me coverage basically right off the bat. If one's coming down a little bit, it's quarters. If they're staying back, it's two. You can kind of figure out what they're going to run just off the film study alone. But yeah, I like to look at the front for my guys if it's a run play, be able to call out over front, bear front, everything like that, just
Okay.
to help them out as much as I can.
Good information, man, from a smart young man, Mr. Thomas, out here from Linfield Christian, quarterback class of 2025. Somebody you should definitely follow the story from. Let's talk about. Let's go through the season last year. Let's go through the off season. The off season, you're going in for your senior year. Let's talk about the mind frame, the mentality. Let's talk about some things that you want to accomplish personally, which personal accomplishments do help your team, especially as quarterback. So never be afraid to reach your personal goals. As I know Burns already coaches you up, but talk a little bit about the off season last year, going into your season senior season. Sorry.
Yes, sir, for sure. Yeah, this season was more of like a I needed to prove myself type of thing. I feel like I needed to play with a chip on my shoulder coming off of last year, not having the best accolades and team like progress, I guess. So this year off season, it was very personal for me. It was very, what's the word I'm looking for? Very difficult.
Mm,
There was a lot of moments with Coach Burns that were just real, and that he had to really explain to me on like what the process truly is and how I can understand it more of being just a leader and a overall. Like I got to take the team somewhere because I am at the quarterback position and I am going to be the main guy who they look at in desperate situations. So um, it was a lot of just preparation in the film room mostly. Um, Learning new coverages, learning what to do in certain coverages. Um, Working with Coach Ortiz, our offensive coordinator, he did a great job of understanding and having me fully understand the playbook and what he wants at all times, what he wants to hit in certain moments, certain times, what he's looking for, and yeah, overall, just a hard work um, over that off season and being on the field with Coach Burns really helped, and his guys, his sons Lorenzo and Simeon,
yeah.
just their speed of the game helped me slow down the high school game completely. So that I think those were the really big things that helped me this season.
And I want to explain to people what's going on right here. So Coach Burns coached in the NFL collegiate level, coached for the Redskins, coached for Philadelphia under Steve Spurrier and Marvin Lewis. You got Coach Ortiz that plays for the New Orleans Saints fullback. You got Lorenzo who played for a couple teams, various teams throughout the NFL. The Jaguars being number one, now playing with the Birmingham. You got Simeon over there playing semi-pro pro football. You got a lot of information coming at you from a small Linfield Christian high school. sometimes do you feel like it's overwhelming? You have to sit back and then, take a mental health day. Talk a little bit about that, because you sometimes you have to decompress and just step away from the game, because those kind of variables with all those NFL income coming in, they don't take breaks. NFL and pro people don't take breaks. Coach Burns talks football 24/8, 25/8. Lorenzo, Simeon, Ortiz, they can talk football all day. But as a young man that still has a life, a son, brother, etc., sometimes you have to decompress and just be like, talk a little bit about that. Like just decompressing as a quarterback, because you just said in desperate moments, everything's on your shoulders. So go ahead and talk a little bit about those moments.
Yeah, for sure. I think the knowledge that they give is a total blessing for me.
Yeah,
Sometimes at practice though, I do just gotta just be quiet and understand what they're trying to say, and I think it really helps me though, because as far as like knowledge are dropping and taking a step back, I feel like I said at practice, when I sit back and just listen, I'm that's when I'm getting the most information and learning the most on what to do in certain situations, because they've been in that spot already, and um, it's also a way for me to kind of have confidence in myself, because I know that they did it out of my school, so I can do it out of my school, and I can be the next guy who people look up to from my school if they want to go to that next level.
that's good stuff. Good stuff. Now let's talk about you. Let's talk about your season. What were some highlight points? What were some things where you were like went home like, got him? You know what I'm saying? When you walked in the locker room, like,
Yes,
got
sir.
him. Let's talk about some of those moments.
Yes, sir. Well, I'm gonna take you through my season a little bit. The
Yeah.
first two games we had tough losses. We lost by 1 point in both games, fourth quarter losses. So that was kind of hard to come back from. But our third game, we ended up taking the dub against Takowitz.
Oh, that.
Haven't beat them my whole high school career, so that was pretty awesome. That was a big team win. I feel like that kind of switched our mentality a little bit. And then a couple games later, we played a wing T team against Norwalk. I would say that was probably my best performance game right there. Very physical, up front team. They just want to run through you. So I had to move around a little bit, help out my line as much as I could, slide the offense as much as possible. And then I'm gonna fast forward a little bit in the league. We ended up winning our league championship, um, and we went to first round of playoffs. We played Silverado. It was about like a 3 hour drive. It was
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah, yeah. From
Winning league, and we had a drive.
Temecula to Victorville is a trip to Vegas.
Crazy,
Yeah,
crazy. Um, so we weren't really expecting that after winning league. So that was kind of a big switch for us. Um, but had a good game there. Our team actually played really well. We ended up going into halftime even, and then and we couldn't stick it out until the end. So that was the end of that season. Um, but yeah, we had some dogs who were able to help me out completely. We had a
yeah,
line probably averaging out like 200 pounds probably. We
yeah.
had a new guy come in. He played safety, and he had to play left tackle for half the season. So that was a really crazy thing that happened. He didn't give up much.
Hey,
So yeah, but playmakers all over the field. Our receiving core was crazy. Still young.
yeah.
All of them are going to come back other than one. When that one is going to Fort Lewis. So
Okay.
crazy backfield with Micah Little.
Yeah, I know. I've
If
seen
you get the
Michael
ball
Little
in his
for
hands, he's going to make a play. So
definitely. Yeah, no, man. I'm not done with you yet. We're talking to Mr. Thomas Pascal, right? Last
yes,
name
sir.
Pascal. Pascal. I've been running from it. I'm gonna take it head on, Mr. Thomas Paschal, a Linfield Christian down there with Coach Burns, man. A small Christian school, and there's more kids that get out of here in college than a lot of these other big time schools. I want to talk to you a little bit about the culture of Linfield Christian. Talk to me about the culture, some things, some of your pride and moments, and some things why like people don't know about the culture there.
Yes, sir. I mean, freshman year stepping on campus, you already felt the brotherhood and like this is a tight, close knit family community that we have. I feel like Coach Burns does a really good job of having us understand like what the goals are and what you're supposed to do. And at the end of the day, it's to be a warrior of the Lord. And I feel like our guys really care about what you got going on outside of just just football and outside of school. It's really you become part of something bigger than yourself, and that's just the Linfield family. And as far as like culture and what goes on at Linfield, I can't complain about anything, to be honest with you. Great coaches, great faculty, everything really has a purpose, which is again doing it for the Lord and His glory.
Man, that's great stuff. Now I'm gonna put you on the spot right here. I don't know if you're ready for this.
Yes, sir.
I'm
Let's
gonna
do it.
get you in trouble a little bit. I'm gonna get you in trouble a little bit. Here we go. Big game at Linfield for to getting a chance to get in the playoffs. Give me a short rehearsal of a Coach Burns speech.
Oh, oh,
Yeah,
that's a big one.
yeah. Come on,
All
give
right,
it to me.
let me.
Yeah, because I know it's dog nabbit. Shit.
Oh man.
Come on, just give it to me. Just raw as you can right now.
I'm gonna give you the rundown. I can't speak for
Okay,
Coach
okay,
Burns, but
go ahead. Because you gotta
so
have a
he's
little. If you gotta have a little DMX in the background and the veins got to get popping out the neck. But go ahead and give me the rundown.
oh man. Okay, so he starts off with something.
What's he gonna tell you guys?
He starts off with something along the lines of preparation. Like we've been here, we've done this. We're built for it. Um, especially if we're home. Man, they're coming on our turf. We got Bible verses under that field, so we're playing for something bigger than just ourselves. And then he's gonna start getting fired up, start hitting
Yeah,
people's helmets, start headbutting helmets. Um, and then we're gonna start walking out. We do our prayer. Uh, then the prayer gets us fired up, man. He says it a little bit loud. He gets into it,
yeah.
and then after that, he says whatever he wants for the breakdown. My personal favorite. He goes family on me, and then battle on six. Uh, yeah. I mean, I can't speak on how
Yeah,
crazy his
yeah,
pregame speeches are and how they make us feel because it's just a certain type of feeling before pregame.
yeah,
And then we go into the tunnel, and then he gives us his little pregame ritual. I don't know if I can spoil it though, because I mean, it's a big thing that happens.
yeah.
And then that gets us fired up. We run off the tunnel, and it's game time.
And I want everybody to know this is him in a DMX voice. DMX.
Oh yeah, super deep, super deep.
Super deep. We going straight to the gutter on it. New York, Philly, Timbo boots. But shout out to the whole Linfield Christian school, man. Shout out to you, brother. Keep it up. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep inspiring the young men over there that think they don't got a chance and they really do got a chance. We appreciate you for checking in. Turf Talk 101. Good luck to you and your family. And don't forget about us. Keep checking in. I'm gonna check in when you're in college, boss.
Yes, sir, coach. Thank you very much for having me.
Have a good one.